Everywhere you look, symbols are staring back at you. The eye in a triangle, the unfinished pyramid, the owl, the obelisk. You see them on currency, in government buildings, in fashion brands, in music videos. People whisper that it's the Illuminati. Others roll their eyes and say it's just decoration. The confusion is real, and the tension between seeing hidden power and seeing coincidence has never been stronger. The truth is that symbols are powerful. They bypass your rational mind and speak directly to your subconscious. They have been humanity's oldest language, shaping rituals, religions, and collective imagination for thousands of years. Whether you realize it or not, they're influencing you. The question is, how much of that influence is real, and how much is projection? Take the most famous example, the eye in the triangle. On the US dollar bill, it floats above an unfinished pyramid, watching. Conspiracy theorists point to it as proof that the Illuminati rule America. But its real name is the Eye of Providence, and it appeared long before the Illuminati. Renaissance artists used it in Christian paintings to symbolize God's watchful guidance. The triangle represented the Holy Trinity. When the United States designed the Great Seal in 1782, they chose an unfinished pyramid to symbolize a nation still being built, with the Eye of Providence above it to represent destiny and guidance. Nothing about it was explicitly Illuminati. But because Freemasons also used the eye, and because the Illuminati admired similar Enlightenment imagery, the threads got tangled. Later writers and conspiracy theorists stitched them together: the eye, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, America. In time, the symbol became a meme, shorthand for hidden power. Musicians started flashing triangles with their hands. Brands embedded eyes in their logos. Some did it to troll, some as pure aesthetics, some deliberately to draw on the symbol's subconscious resonance. But context always matters. Not every eye is Illuminati. Sometimes it's just an eye. Now consider the pyramid. Older than recorded history, pyramids appear across the world, in Egypt, Nubia, Mesoamerica. They are one of the simplest, strongest shapes for monumental building. That universality makes them powerful archetypes of hierarchy, endurance, and mystery. For the American founders, the unfinished pyramid on the Great Seal stood for strength and the ongoing project of building the nation. The Latin motto underneath, Novus Ordo Seclorum, literally meant a new order of the ages, referring to a fresh era of governance, not a one-world conspiracy. But pyramids carry an aura no matter where they appear. They are tombs of kings, aligned with stars, wrapped in myths of hidden chambers and ancient wisdom. Combine that with an eye floating above it and a cryptic Latin phrase about a new order, and you have the perfect symbol to fuel centuries of speculation. In esoteric traditions, the pyramid is also a metaphor for consciousness itself, moving from a broad base of instinct to a refined apex of spirit. That's why mystics and secret societies adopted the pyramid long before America did. They saw in it a diagram of ascent. When artists or brands use the pyramid today, they are often tapping into that deep resonance, sometimes knowingly, sometimes just because it looks timeless and strong. Then there is the owl. In many ways, it is the most direct link to the historical Illuminati, who adopted the owl of Minerva as their emblem. In Greek mythology, the owl belonged to Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategy. The owl could see in the dark, the perfect metaphor for hidden knowledge. That symbol of secret insight appealed to Adam Weishaupt and his circle in the late 1700s, just as it has appealed to countless others throughout history. Today, the owl appears in everything from children's cartoons to elite clubs. At the Bohemian Grove Retreat in California, a giant stone owl sits as a backdrop to the cremation of care ritual, a theatrical pageant performed by powerful politicians and executives. Photos and videos of that ritual have fueled endless theories of global elites practicing occult ceremonies. The ritual itself is real, though its intent is more theatrical than mystical, a symbolic burning of worldly concerns, freeing attendees to indulge. Creepy to some, comical to others, but enough to keep the owl branded as an emblem of elite secrecy. And again, Context matters. Sometimes an owl is just an owl. Sometimes it is a stage prop. Sometimes it really is a deliberate echo of hidden wisdom. So why do these symbols feel so powerful, as if they must be proof of something more? It's because symbols bypass logic and go straight to the nervous system. When you see an eye in a triangle on a government building, your body whispers, someone is watching. When you see an owl behind a group of powerful men, your gut says, they know something I don't. It's natural. Humans evolved to spot patterns, faces in clouds, predators in the brush, meaning in randomness. That instinct saved our ancestors, but today it makes us see coordination where there is none, agency where there is coincidence, control where there is just culture. That doesn't mean symbols are meaningless. It means you need discernment. A symbol is like a mirror. It reflects back as much of you as it carries in itself. If you are anxious, you will see threat. If you are curious, you will see mystery. If you are centered, you will see archetype. The eye, the pyramid, and the owl are archetypes. They belong to no one and everyone. They can be hijacked to manipulate, but they can also be reclaimed to empower. The real question is, how do you interact with them? Do you let them dictate fear to you, or do you learn to decode? Do you treat them as proof of some vast conspiracy, or as invitations to deeper understanding? Try this experiment. For the next 2 days, pay attention to one symbol that catches your eye in your environment. It could be on a building, on a shirt, on a coin. Instead of reacting, pause. Ask yourself 3 quiet questions. Where is it being used? When did it appear there? And what is the likely intent? Write down your interpretation and how it made you feel. You may find that the symbol loses its grip on you, or you may find that it becomes richer, layered with history and meaning that doesn't need to scare you. That is the beginning of decoding, because decoding isn't about debunking, it's about reclaiming your perception. The truth is that the greatest spell ever cast by the idea of the Illuminati wasn't control over governments or revolutions. It was the ability to implant symbols into your imagination and make you see them everywhere. The eye, the pyramid, and the owl have endured not because a secret society has managed them for centuries, but because they live deep in the collective unconscious. They are reminders of power, vision, and mystery, but what you do with them is up to you. Stop letting symbols scare you. Start letting them teach you. When you decode instead of react, you reclaim your sovereignty. That is the real magic hidden in plain sight.